Hey, okay, so I thought while I was hanging in my saddle today, this morning hunting, I thought I'm going to start making like a video log and saving them on my YouTube whenever I go hunting. Good, bad, whatever happens, happens. Just because I think it might be neat when I'm gone, hopefully 30 years from now, 40 years from now, whatever the Lord will give me. But whenever that happens, I think it'd be neat for my grandkids, assuming they care anything at all about hunting, they might find it neat. So today's the first time. Today is November 22nd. Saturday, November 22nd. Incredibly warm for November. Incredibly warm. It's like 84 degrees out there right now. It's terrible. But I went super early, got in my spot with my saddle, and the wind was kind of westerly, southwesterly, which I thought was going to be perfect. Crazy. I'd never seen deer because it's the first time in there, but turns out the deer basically came from where I came from. Really strange. Don't know how they didn't smell me. Don't know how they didn't booger. They were boogery. They were really jittery. Anyway, I'll try not to make this too terribly long. So I'm in my saddle, and the woods were really dead this morning. If you guys are hunters, you'll get to where you know what I mean when I say the woods are dead. It's like just still, no activity. You don't even hear birds, nothing, no sound, just dead. I think it was around 7-ish when I heard footsteps behind me, and that means they were really close because I can't hear squat. So I'm, hugged up to my tree, super still, and have my bow in my hand, and I've connected to my D loop on my string. But so the deer, I start to catch him in my peripheral vision on my right side. It's a doe, good sized doe. I mean, 100 pounds, 90 to 100 pound doe. Everything I had full intention of putting an arrow through it. So it's slipping in, but it's super like, I don't know. It's like it's really spooky. Somehow it was downwind of me. Maybe it was catching just a whiff of something. I don't know. Morning thermals have the air coming up. So it was kind of still. So maybe as it was going up enough to where it was above them and they weren't getting enough of the smell to really freak out. So anyway, I'm positioned this way. The shooting area over here, I had put corn out. This was actually in Florida. I'm hunting in a spot just south of Cottonwood, Alabama, about 1.5 miles into Florida. So the deer was coming in from behind me, and there's a lot of debris. So when that deer, and there wound up being more, when that deer come by me, it was at about, I don't know, 5 yards, maybe that far. 5 yards or closer. I'm only about the platform that my feet are on is probably at about 13 feet. It was not very high, but that was because it was thick in the tree. I'm in a tree that it goes up about 4 foot and then double trunks. So my sticks are on this one. I'm tethered to this one, and my platform is on this one. So it gives me some, anyway, I've got a lot of cover. It helps me hide, which turned out to be good. So the deer starts to come in, and it goes behind a little cedar tree, the head of it, and I start to draw my bow back. And somehow it boogered. I can't explain it. It just boogered. Well, I'm in half draw. Well, all of the weight loss I've experienced and everything else, I'm sure some of it's muscle because I do not have the strength that I had a year ago. I'll get it back, but at this point, I don't have the strength I had a year ago. I'm only shooting a 60-pound bow, which should be easy peasy. I can draw it easy peasy, but for whatever reason, I'm at half draw. It sees me, and I'm stuck. I'm stuck trying to draw, but I'm also stuck because I don't know that it saw me. Anyway, long story short, I get the bow drawn back, and by the time I get it, I'm trying to draw it while it's trying to figure me out. But it's straight like this, so it's not really seeing much movement. And it finally got so uncomfortable. It didn't blow, didn't do anything, it just hopped off. Probably 7 yards away from where it was standing. So were it wide open, which it's not there, were it wide open, that deer, after it hopped off, was maybe 20 yards, maybe. So I'm holding the bow drawn and realize I'm going to have to let it down. So I ease it down as best I can, which wasn't easy enough. The arrow made a little tick sound. The deer didn't run. It's standing over there broadside, trying to figure out what had just happened. So I'm just sitting there watching it, and it occurs to me that this deer is going to come back. This deer is not spooked enough to not come back. So I just kind of settle in with my knees up against the tree in my saddle and holding my bow up, determined I'm going to wait this deer out. 5 minutes go by, easy, maybe more, and I hear more deer behind me. And they are close, closer than the other one was. They are super close. And the first deer stayed out there at like 20 yards broadside, but all, certainly keyed up and too much debris. I couldn't shoot. But I wasn't about to try because I could hear these deer practically right under me. So a few minutes goes by and I hear the steps. It goes from steps to kind of, if you're hunting, you'll learn this, but a deer, when it's trying to figure something out, it'll stomp its foot, right? And the harder it stomps it, the more boogered it is. Well, this deer was stomping, the one that was out there broadside, but it wasn't stomping hard. It was just barely stomping. And it was looking around trying to figure it out. Never did figure me out. Like I said, where I was at was a really good hiding spot. But I got busted. But that was on me. So anyway, this other deer finally works its way up, and I catch it in my peripheral vision. It's closer than the first one was. That deer, when it walked past me, it was probably 3 yards. Anyway, it was really, really close. And it was bigger. So it was a bigger body deer, a more mature doe. I'm guessing that first deer was probably an 18-month-old, 20-month-old deer. And this other one was a 2 or 3 year old deer. And when it started coming through, it was more confident. I suppose it had sat behind me for so long that it got comfortable. It sat behind me, not able to figure out why the other deer boogered, that it got comfortable. And when it came, it kind of just walked right on up. It got at about 12 yards from me, and quartering away, but no shot. The deer was way too jacked up, and I would still had to draw the bow. And while I'm looking at that one, plus the ones at 20 yards, there's another one that I can't see, but I can hear it walking. So I can't draw on either of them because I don't know if the deer behind me is staring at me, So that one starts crunching and making a bunch of noise eating, and it makes the first deer that's out there at 20 comfortable because that one's now relaxed and eating. So that first one comes walking back up to the corn. And about that time, the third deer pops out kind of below me and off to my right where the other ones went through. And it's about the size of that first one. So it's a doe group. There were no little, like this year, fawns in the group. They were all adult deer. But There was obviously an alpha. She was the second deer. So they go up. So I've decided I boogered my opportunity at the first deer because I wasn't being patient. And I think the reason I kind of lost my patience was these deer were downwind of me. It was blowing my mind how they weren't winding me. So I guess I was like, I better shoot before they do wind me. Maybe that's why I don't know, but I shouldn't have drawn the bow the very first time and boogered that first deer up. So anyway, so this time I'm determined I'm going to just sit there. I'm just going to sit, let them eat corn, get comfy. So I'm letting them eat corn, and I'm like, I got to try to get a shot. I need some deer meat. Jesse needs some deer meat. I got to try to get a shot. So now I wear some shoulder straps to help with my saddle that I wear when I'm hunting. And I got to get new ones. I've always been concerned with the noise they make. They're very scratchy. And when I draw, it makes a scratchy sound. The fabric of the shoulder straps makes a squeak. I don't know how to explain it. If you ever have that hard nylon, they call it cordura, in your hand and rub it, you'll know what I'm talking about. And because there was no wind, it was just dead super seal. It sounded like somebody rattling frickin' aluminum foil, I guess. It was just loud. And when I did that, they freaked out. They did like that. But they just hopped. They didn't run off. And I went ahead and drew the bow on back because while they're moving, they're less likely to be able to see me moving. So when they hopped, and they didn't run off, they just kind of hopped. And took about 3 or 4 steps away from the corn in 3 different directions. One kind of towards me, one over there, and the big one I was trying to shoot kind of went that way. Well, it's thick as heck over there like a wall, so I knew she couldn't keep going. I knew she was going to come back, if nothing else, because she's with those other deer. So I just held it. I held it, and I held it. I held it for a long time. And now she's at probably 17 yards, quartering to me, and I can't get a shot because of the debris. So I move. The beautiful thing about a saddle is, you can just kind of move your body a little bit and change your position, and you can find angles between limbs and stuff to be able to shoot through. So anyway, I realized that I can get an angle. So about that time, I get an angle on her, and she takes a couple of steps forward. And that's when I was like, okay, I think I can get this shot off. So, but I'm hurting. My body's hurting from trying to hold it. My shoulders and the triceps are burning from holding it draw for so long. I try my best to bury that pin right in the crease. If you shoot a bow, you'll learn what the crease is, but right in that crease of that shoulder, plus just a smidge forward because she's quartering towards me a little bit. I didn't want to hit too far back if I hit her, assuming I hit her. So I drill that pin in, and I know I'm using my 20-yard pin. I know she's not truly at 20, but she's close enough to where 2 or 3 yards ain't gonna matter. My mistake, I knew the deer was keyed up, big time jacked up. I should have, instead of putting in the center of the shoulder spot, I should have dropped down to the heart, and I did not. And when I shot, she dropped. And I watched the lighted knock. And she dropped and went right over her back. She took off. But even then, they never blew, they never stomped, nothing. I don't think they ever saw me. I don't think they had a clue what happened. They just heard that bow. No matter, and if you get into bow hunting, just know, no matter what you shoot, you will never shoot a bow that will go faster than the sound the bow makes. So do your best to make your bow as quiet as possible, which I do. Um, I am not pleased with my arrow flight. Plenty good, but I'm not pleased with it. I'm kind of picky about that. But the arrow flew fine because I could see the lighted knot. And when you shoot a bow, when you learn to shoot it and you shoot it properly, you'll shoot with both eyes open, and you'll see the flight of that arrow as it's going. You'll always be able to see it as long as you're shooting properly. So anyway, the bow's hanging up over there. I'm looking at it because I'm not happy. It just, right, I mean, it didn't an inch over her back, but it's because she dropped when she heard that bow, that pop sound of the bow shooting. Dropped and hopped off. And they ran off. Grab another arrow. I knew I missed immediately. It's kind of, when you get to doing this, you'll learn. When you're trying to shoot a deer and you shoot with a bow anyway, for me, it kind of goes in slow motion. When I'm really zoned into it, everything happens. It's in slow motion. I can see the arrow. It's amazing. It's beautiful. I love it. Anyway, sorry I hadn't got all the garb off my face. I had to come to my office real quick. Got some work to do. Ate lunch and come running out here to get this work done. And then I remembered I forgot to film this little video thing I want to do. I had intended on doing it in the truck before I left. But anyway, I got busy trying to get 2 other spots reset up for the next 2 or 3 days for Sissy and me to be able to bow hunt, hopefully kill some deer. So then I noticed the deer, they were walking back, and I thought, holy moly, they're going to come back. They want this corn so bad, they're coming back. Turns out they didn't, but they did come back towards me, basically kind of going back the direction they came from when they came in, which is very surprising to me. I wasn't expecting the deer to come from there. So far, everything I had in my head about that spot, frankly, has been wrong. But I've only hunted it the one time, so we'll see. I really anticipated the deer would be coming from kind of out in front of where I'm hanging, and coming up from this swamp area, coming up it's a little bit of a rise in there. I really, in my head, I envisioned the deer would be coming up that towards me, because behind me where I walk in, there's not much woods and there's houses where people live. So only thing I could figure is those deer were bedded down, and I had to walk past them. It's the only thing I can think. I had to walk past them on my walk in, 5 in the morning in the pitch dark. That's why I get there super early. That, and I'm slow. So when I get in the tree, I'm slow. It takes me forever to kind of get everything how I like it. But I like to be there so early that any disturbance I cause, by the time it's, the deer up and moving, it's been well over an hour since I came through an area, and they done forgot about it, and they're not worrying about it no more. So anyway, little tip. First time I have missed with my, first time I have missed a shot with my bow since probably, I'm going to say around 2008, maybe, something like that. And that day I missed a deer, a little buck. I missed a deer. It was also in Florida, down in Bronson. Sissy will know where I'm talking about. I missed a deer at like 5 yards because I got in too big a hurry, and I didn't even mean to hit the trigger. I hit the trigger and I shot 2 foot over his back. That day the deer ran off. He was just walking by. He ran off. And I could see him at like 40 yards down through the pines. Got my grunt call out and grunted him, and he came back. And I shot him. To my recollection, it's the longest distance I've ever killed a deer with my bow. I don't generally shoot past 25. I just don't like to. Too many things can go wrong. Anyway, that deer I missed that morning. I ended up killing him 15 minutes later because I called him back with my grunt call. and calmed him down. And he came back generally close to me and wandered by another area again, and I shot him at 34 yards, which was nuts. I don't typically shoot. I mean, I think I maybe have shot twice ever in my life at an animal past 25, and that's one of the times. So, anyway, love y'all. Good luck. I hope y'all are hunting. I hope y'all are outside in God's creation and living life and having a wonderful life. Shoot bows, shoot guns, hunt them however makes you happy. I don't care. Just be out in the outdoors. Provide protein for those you care about. Peace. See you later. Love you. Bye.